You're probably wondering, why are you dressed so nice, Nick? Well, funny story. Wednesday afternoon, I get a text from my mother. Actually, before I did that, happy Friday, everyone. Good morning. Let's get to my low, my habit, act of kindness. You know what? I guess my low is, while this week went by really fast, I am kind of exhausted, if that makes sense. And so I slept in a little later than I probably wanted to. My high, though, is, okay, here's how addicted to my phone I am. I wake up and check my messages on my phone, check Facebook, and a dear friend of mine was live, and so I watched said friend, do her live. It was a girl, and I mean, it was just so inspirational and cool, the things that she was saying. Like, I'm sure you all heard this a million times. Don't let anyone steal your shine, which, yeah, you shouldn't do that. Believe me, like, I've risked having that happen to me a bunch of times in my life, and, I'm still here. So I guess they didn't take away my shine, now did they? Now then, what's my act of kindness? Actually, you know what? My act of kindness, I responded to some of, to the live. Like, when someone's on Facebook Live, you can, like, do, like, messages and stuff like that. Like, I did that. And some of them are very good. So, my act of kindness is I was supporting my friend. Yay! Okay. Anyway, I was talking about what's going on Wednesday. What happened on Wednesday. So, I get a text from my mom. And keep in mind, for those of you who don't already know, last Saturday, my parents and I went to Libs to really celebrate my birthday, as well as kick off 2026 in style, which was wonderful. I get a text from my mom yesterday afternoon, and she asked, "Want to go to Libs?" Like, of the dozens, if not hundreds of things my mother could have ever texted me, asking if I want to go to Libs, as much as I would like to go, not remotely near the top. I don't think it would be in the top 100 things that she could have texted me, because I never would have thought it would happen. So, long story short, there was my mom had a nursing friend who sadly passed away, and basically this nursing friend was the one who, like, taught my mom how to be a nurse, like, doing the job and stuff. And my mom got to know this woman, she got to know her family, her daughter, and basically tonight we're gonna go to Libs to celebrate, celebration of life, as well as, get together and such. And I'm wearing this shirt because, if you remember, I wore my nice new white and blue shirt to Libs the other day, and I spilled on it. Now, thankfully, the stains are out of the shirt, and thank God for that. But seriously, like, anyone who knows about washing clothes, or if you're like me, you're a little kid who would constantly spill on himself, age 5, 6, or whatever. Getting stains out of clothes is hard. And when it's red sauce or grease from clarified butter, you know how difficult the stains are to get out. So on the off chance that happens tonight, I'm wearing a shirt so no one notices. Ha! That's what you do. I will admit, I tried playing the odds. I will admit that was on me. I tried playing the odds. Practically a white shirt in a place where there's going to be red sauce. Things are never going to end well. Like, it's rare that things actually end well. So, Yeah, that's on me. But my shirt got cleaned. I'm actually gonna be wearing it tomorrow. So, yeah. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, I did wear this outfit last Friday, and I did wash it, of course. Fridays and Sundays are when I do my laundry, in case anyone's ever wondering when I do them. So, now that all the pleasantries are out of the way, I mean, listen, you saw the title of the video. You know I gotta talk about Trigger Conroy playing Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Well, where do I start? Well, I believe last week ended with pretty much Trigger Conroy getting the second gym badge, and this week ended with Trigger Conroy getting the third. I mean, going through Elex Forest and alluding to a certain Forest Guardian that he'll probably discuss later on. The breeding center is on the way to Goldenrod City, which, if anyone knows about Pokemon breeding, then you know that. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Generation 2, Gold, Silver, Crystal, that was the first generation where breeding mechanics were installed in the game. And obviously breeding works exactly the way I think he does. Have a male Pokemon and a female Pokemon, put them in the daycare center, they'll produce an egg, the egg hatches. Of course, there's a lot of things, like some Pokemon are in certain egg groups, and some Pokemon belong to more than just one egg group. Obviously, simply put, like you get say a male Pikachu and a female Pikachu. They'll have a Pikachu. Very simple. The baby will always be the same species as the mother. So, what's a better example? Shoot, I don't have the thing in front of me. I guess if a female Blastoise and a male Feraligatr, I think they can breed, are put in the daycare center and produce an egg, the baby will come out as a squirrel, which is the same species as the mother. That's how it works. However, the father will pass along TMs as well as very special egg moves that the baby Pokemon would otherwise not learn. So that's how breeding works. And on the route to Goldenrod City, you also find Ditto, which can breed with anything. And the baby will always come out as, the Pokemon that isn't Ditto. Which is important because there are some Pokemon that are gender exclusive. Some Pokemon can only be female, some Pokemon can only be male. Remember Chansey? Happiny, Chansey, and Blissey, that line? That's exclusively all female. Let's see. Jinx, Smoochum and Jinx, that's exclusively female. Frostlass, which you get from using a Dawnstone on a female Snorunt, that's exclusively female, obviously. Vespiquen can only be female. Miltank can only be female. Males include Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Hitmontop. Tauros. Gallade, which you use a Dawnstone on a male Kirlia. What else? Throw and Sock. The two fighters from Generation 5. They're exclusively male. Lilligant is always female. So yeah, some Pokemon, and if you have if it's a female, you don't really have to worry, but if you want the Pokemon that are exclusively male, that's what you need Ditto for. That's how it works. And there's also really crazy mechanics involved with the Nidoran lines. Like, I think a female Nidoran is the only thing that can breed with Ditto. Nothing else. Not like Nidorina, not Nidoqueen, not Nidoran male, not Nidorino, not Nidoking. Like, just Nidoran female, that's the only thing that can breed with Ditto. And that's how you get male or female Nidoran. I don't know. I think that's how it works. I forget. And someone please correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see what else I'm trying to. All right. He talked about Sudowoodo. You know what? A part of me actually thought he would use Sudowoodo in his playthrough, but I mean, then again, he already has Agate, the Geodude, so yeah, Sudowoodo would be cool though. And Sudowoodo is actually pretty good in Gen 4. I mean, if it has the Rock Head ability, you can teach it, Wood Hammer for sure, which would be great for it, as well as for coverage. If you don't know, there is a path from Goldenrod to Ecruteak that also blocks the way back to Violet City if you're going that giant loop, where there's something blocking the way, and it's a Sudowoodo. What you do is, after you get the gym badge from Goldenrod City, you gotta go to the plant shop, and get the squirt bottle, squirting can, and pour it on the thing that's blocking the way, and that's a Sudowoodo, and that indicates, battle. Yeah, Sudowoodos actually, they love to pretend they're trees. They're rock-type Pokemon, but they love to pretend they're trees. And they really do not like water. Fun fact, that was actually a point of contention in one of the episodes of the anime. Which, speaking of, yeah, for the record, I think Sugar Conroy's taking a little break for the moment to get more videos done and edited and then uploaded, because there wasn't a video yesterday. But the video before yesterday, we gotta talk about what the anime did. Because I don't think there was a more accurate depiction of how every kid in the 90s watching the anime was 90s, early 2000s, was thinking when the anime was going on, better than what Sugar Conroy said in essentially just barely under a 6-minute video, which is after Ash, Misty, and Brock go to the Johto region, that's when the pacing changes significantly. Basically, it takes like 2, 3, sometimes even 4 years to get through a region that, the game's out at the time of it taking place. And it took them 15 weeks to go from Azalea Town to Goldenrod City. And 15 weeks in real time. In fact, Sugar Conroy even mentioned, he legit planned out, what steps they were taking all throughout the Elex Forest and the road to get to Goldenrod City before it actually got there. And keep in mind, this is 15 weeks. And the way it worked back then is, after pretty much the last Saturday before summer vacation started, there were no new episodes of anything until the school year began. Basically, it was how Fox Kids and Kids WB and Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and all those other shows that aired Saturday morning cartoons was incentive for kids for something to look forward to on Saturdays during the school year. But now the summer vacation's here, gotta worry about that, because if you're a kid, every day during summer vacation's like a Saturday. So yeah, there you go. Basically, they finally get to Goldenrod City, and summer vacation starts. And it's not until September of that same year, that's when Ash finally goes to the Goldenrod City gym. And he loses to Whitney. More on that in a second. Basically, that's 5 months of his life dedicated to waiting for when he finally gets to Goldenrod, to when Ash and the gang finally get to Goldenrod City. And he finally gets to the gym battle and he loses. Yeah. I mean, Ash would get a rematch in the very next episode, and he wins, which is good. But after that, it's like 21 more episodes, which means 21 more weeks, till you get to Equity City. And believe me, there's a lot more to it than that, but yeah. I mean, you gotta remember, this is the early 2000s. This is when the internet was pretty much in its infancy, before people knew what filler episodes were. So you were stuck watching whatever it was on. There was no way to skip it, and until things were dubbed here in America, you couldn't do anything about it. That's just how it was back then. Speaking of Whitney, told you I'd get back to her. If you're a Pokemon fan, you know exactly what the Goldenrod City gym entails. It's a normal type gym, and for a lot of people, I do mean a lot of people, unless of course you mean, in which case all I do is level grind, I just completely, got through it like that. You know what, I'll put it this way, the W in the name Whitney might as well stand for wall, because so many kids had trouble getting past her back in the day. Again, I level grind, so I had nothing to worry about. But that's what it was, man. Man, I tell you what. There are so many people who to this day complain about Whitney as her being like the most dangerous gym leader. And I see why. If you don't know what happens is, Whitney only has two Pokemon. Her Clefairy, which can kind of throw you off if, is using Metronome, which, okay. Clefairy using Metronome, alright. This is back when Clefairy was considered a normal type back then. Now it's actually a fairy type. Anyway, you can get past that Clefairy almost like nothing. And then there's Miltank. Remember I mentioned how earlier a Miltank are exclusively female? One of the moves that her Miltank has is Attract. How it works is, if you're a male Pokemon battling against that female Miltank, and that female Miltank uses Attract, it's going to leave that male Pokemon in a state of infatuation, which is kind of like confusion, only in this case it's too infatuated to attack the opponent. And that's actually the least of your problems. Stomp is a relatively high-powered move for that point in the game. That's not bad. But then there's Rollout. A rock-type move that she's stuck using, but it gets more powerful with each consecutive hit it does. Meaning, if you're not using a type that's resistant to rock, or if you're not high enough of a level, that Miltank will quite literally roll you over. And even if by some chance you can actually whittle that Miltank down to low health, Miltank also has another move called Milk Drink. Miltank is a cow, cows produce milk, and Milk Drink heals the HP. Yeah, this Miltank was no joke. I myself got through it. And I gotta give Chuck Conroy a lot of credit for this, because he actually had a strategy I never would have remotely considered. And after I explain why, you'll know why I never considered it. So, with Geodude being a rock type, a rock and ground type, resistant to virtually everything in that gym, including Miltank's rollout, you think, Agate, the Geodude, would be the secret weapon. Nettle was. See, Cherry Carver had the idea of teaching Nettle the TM natural gift, which base power and type are determined on what berry the Pokemon is holding. In this case, Sugar Conroy made Nettle, the Bayleaf, hold Eniapa Berry, which would make the move Natural Gift a 60 base power fighting type move, which fighting type is super effective against normal. I'm like, this might actually work. I mean, I personally would never do this, but I see the logic behind that. So Cherry Conway starts battling Whitney, right? And, Nettle the Bayleaf gets through the Clefairy, like I said. No problem. Miltank is on the scene. And I'm thinking, okay, Miltank is either going to use Attract here or Stomp. Which I should also tell you, Stomp, while it's a very powerful move for that point in the game, it also can cause flinching, which basically prevents your opponent from attacking you. 6 times in a row, Whitney uses Stomp. And like 5 of those times, Nettle flinched. Meaning Sugar Conroy couldn't get off the Natural Gift attack. When he finally does, it doesn't even take off half of the HP. Again, I applaud Sugar Conroy for a very unique strategy, and I get the feeling if Nettle was just higher leveled, it would have probably worked. But, yeah. So, basically, Nettle faints, Agate the Geodude comes out, and because Agate's female, Miltank can't use Attract on it. Meaning its only options are Stomp or Rollout. And while Stomp caused Geodude to flinch, that's all it could do. So Sugar Conroy had Geodude use its Rollout, because Geodude can also learn Rollout, and that's how he beat Whitney. There really is something poetic about using a gym leader's move against a gym leader. There really is. I find it satisfying. And yeah. It didn't take Sugar Conroy 2 tries either, like Ash did. So, yeah. I mean, in this regard, Sugar Conroy's videos are already better than the anime. Oh, and the Game Corner. I forgot to mention the Game Corner. Personally, I never buy with the Game Corner because, I mean, why would I? Basically, it's a way where, like, you get a bunch of coins, and now, through, like, the process of, the help of the internet, you can actually beat the game. So you can get, like, lots of coins, you get, like, really powerful TMs, like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, like those moves. I mean, I personally never abused it when I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but I'm glad Sugar Conroy explained. That's the thing. Like, you're not just getting a playthrough with Sugar Conroy. You're getting, like, the whole experience. Like, what does this game have to offer? What can I do to maximize my ability to have fun with it? And what can I do that I wouldn't normally expect to do? That's Sugar Conroy for you. And I'm having a lot of fun watching. I hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm here to help me this video for all you guys watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, to let me know. Back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.